The servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine have assessed the North Korean contingent involved in hostilities against Ukraine. The statements were published by servicemen Yuri Bondar and Volodymyr Demchenko on their social networks. Paramedic of the Air Assault Forces. Yuri Bondar says that the enemy is extremely hardy and has very good physical training and moral fortitude. Psychological resilience. Imagine that they are taking our strike drones alive. That is, one of them is running around attracting attention, while the other one is shooting the drone from ambush. Imagine the level of stress resistance, Bondar said in a statement. The North Korean infantry carries out offensive actions in small groups, and during contact with Ukrainian forces, they completely disregard their wounded and dead. According to Bondar, they step over the wounded and dead and continue to carry out their tasks. Demchenko says the same thing. They know that wars are not won by nobility and kindness, unlike the unrealistic military culture that the West now possesses and is trying to impose on Ukraine, Demchenko writes. The DPRK soldiers do not surrender. It is not yet known whether this is an order or a part of their training. They self-destruct with a grenade near their heads. Those who remain on the battlefield are doused with flammable liquid and simply burned, with special attention paid to their faces. The enemy is reported to be highly skilled in small arms. Bondar and Demchenko talk about a large number of drones that the North Koreans managed to shoot down with small arms. According to Bondar, the enemy has a frantic pace and dynamics during assaults. 2 to 3 Koreans are able to knock out the defense and capture a position of 4 to 5 soldiers, combined with elements of surprise, create a rather large threat. I would like to single out their special forces, something like the Korean Special Operations Forces. According to all the key indicators, we can say that this is a completely separate cast of people who have been invested in extremely much over the years of training, Bondar says. The servicemen emphasize that the enemy should not be underestimated and note that it is unknown how many DPRK soldiers have been killed, how many are in the combat zone, and how many more may arrive. North Korean troops went on the assault. Special Operation Forces destroyed 18 fighters in Kurshchina. Soldiers of the Special Operations Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine repelled an assault by North Korean troops that lasted from morning until night in Kurshchina. During this time, Rangers of the 6th SOF Regiment destroyed 17 North Korean soldiers, and one of them blew himself up with a grenade. In the morning, a SOF clearing group moved forward and came across one surviving North Korean soldier. He set an unsuccessful trap for the Rangers of the 6th Regiment. The North Korean fighter tried to mislead the SOF soldiers and blow himself up with them on a grenade. When the SSR Rangers approached him, he blew himself up. The SOF soldiers noticed the danger in time and quickly left the affected area. No one was injured. Precise strikes by the night FPV drone crews of the Achilles UAV Battalion of the 92nd Mechanized Brigade. Targets hit: T-72 tank, artillery gun, ATV, 2 Ural trucks damaged, and a Russian soldier wounded. Additional 2 Ural trucks destroyed outright. The Achilles Battalion is a specialized unit within Ukraine's 92nd Assault Brigade, focusing on unmanned aerial vehicle operations. Established to enhance Ukraine's combat capabilities, this battalion has played a pivotal role in various military engagements, particularly in the Kupiansk sector of Kharkiv Oblast. In early January 2025, the battalion's drone operators, in collaboration with other Ukrainian forces, repelled 2 major Russian assaults near Zarizhov, Kharkiv Oblast. Another freight train derailed overnight in Russia, this time in Buryatia. 22 cars derailed, damaging 250 meters of track and 100 meters of power lines. As reported by the Regional Ministry of Emergencies, the accident occurred near the Angarakan station in the Moisky district. As a result of the collision, the following cars were damaged: 250 meters of railway track, 3 supports, 100 meters of contact network. A criminal case is being initiated into the accident due to a possible violation of traffic safety rules. More than 200 specialists and 2 special repair trains were involved in repairing the damage. There were no injuries, but several other trains were delayed due to the accident. The article also mentions an incident with an explosion on a railway near Moscow, which may be related to intelligence activities. The main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine reported this on Facebook. On December 27th, at 1 a.m., an explosion occurred at the Voskresensk railway station in the Moscow region, destroying the carriages of a freight train. The Russian Federation was using them to provide logistics for its army. Sweden will send 3 warships and a surveillance plane to protect infrastructure in the Baltic Sea, reports Wile. They will be a part of a joint NATO operation aimed at deterring further Russian hybrid attacks on undersea cables. Such attacks have become increasingly frequent over the past several months. When announcing the deployment of Swedish forces to the mission at a security conference in Sälen, Prime Minister Kristersson said, "Sweden is not at war, but there is no peace." He stressed that everything must be done right now so that the situation does not escalate in the same way as in 1939.
Sweden is not at war, but there is not peace either. Real peace requires freedom and the absence of serious conflicts between countries. But we and our neighbors are subjected to hybrid attacks that are not carried out with missiles and soldiers, but with computers, money, disinformation, and threats of sabotage.
3 tankers carrying more than 2 million barrels of Russian oil are floating in waters off eastern China after they were sanctioned by the U.S. on Friday, reports Bloomberg. The Murmar, the Huaihai Pacific, and the Olia have departed Russian ports earlier in January and carry about 2,234,000 barrels of Russian oil in total. All of them are now waiting offshore and cannot unload the oil. Gazprom is planning a mass layoff in its central office and the St. Petersburg branch, Russian media report. Allegedly, Russia's biggest corporation will fire almost half of its central apparatus staff. Another confirmation of the troubling outlook for the Russian energy sector this year. On January 17th, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian is to arrive in Moscow to sign a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement with Russia. Both countries' representatives are expected to discuss the prospects for further expansion of bilateral cooperation, particularly in trade and investment, transport and logistics, and humanitarian spheres. In addition, Moscow and Tehran plan to negotiate on regional and international issues. It's also mentioned that Iran has recently suffered greatly from Israel's actions and the overthrow of the Bashar al-Assad regime in Syria.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.